record. And greetings. Good morning and good evening, good afternoon. Well, we should say good afternoon to Bob and Missy, because it's afternoon where you are. Still like way morning around Virginia. Gail, hello. Nice to see you. It is Wednesday, the 2nd of, it's 2/2/22. Yes, I've been waiting all day to say that. 2/2/22. And in about 3 hours and 21 minutes, you know what I'm going to be able to say, right? Here in Houston, it's going to be 2/22/22 at 2:22 in the afternoon. And then later on tonight, after we're done with networking now, yes, we'll be back with networking now. Later on tonight, it's going to be 2:22/22. If you're keeping European style time, it'll be 2:22/22 at 22:22. Okay, my head is starting to hurt now. I'm Glen, by the way. Glen Henderson. It's the John Lavinia Mastermind, and we're so glad to see Missy and Virginia. Linda's here. Catherine, nice to see you. Gail, front and center on my screen, and of course, at the foundation of everything, it's the Money Mama. Lindsay, Dollar, what's happening? Daisy, hope everything's going well. Really glad to see you, Daisy. See how I'm being very nice to Daisy and not like getting her angry, not wanting to get Daisy agitated, upset in any kind of way. Because, see, I was with her out in Pahrump. So I understand. I know how she does with it. Anyway, nice to see you. Did I mention last week that I had a birthday last week? Yeah, it was me. My birthday. Yeah, we just came back from the cruise, which was for Paula's birthday. And my birthday was the 27th of January. I had a fabulous time. Dinner at a lovely restaurant with some close friends. And, you know, you're right, Virginia. I just don't need to be upsetting anybody in here. Linda, Virginia, they were all out there in Pahrump with us. So I know what they could do. And I'm going to be the nice guy today. So anyway, lovely dinner with some very good friends here in the Houston area. And then Saturday, we had the crew coming over. Yep. And had ourselves a lovely time, lovely afternoon and evening. Plowed through 2 racks of smoked baby back ribs. Excellent. And then the pièce de résistance, as you all know, every year on my birthday, did it again this year, I get 2 things shipped to me, packed in dry ice. Missy's about to fall out of her chair when I mention that the 2 things that I always get shipped to me all the way down to Houston, packed in dry ice, 2 cheesecakes from Junior's in Brooklyn, New York. Yes, one of them is a 10-inch sampler, you know, with the chocolate and the cherry crumb and all of that stuff. And that's what we served to our friends on Saturday, and they loved it. I've not met a soul on earth who's tried Junior's cheesecake and didn't love it. People who don't like cheesecake like Junior's cheesecake. Bob and Missy are great believers in Junior's cheesecake. As for me, Junior's cheesecake is pretty much my religion. Yeah. Yes, had a lovely time. Did I mention we got 2 cheesecakes? Yeah, one of them we served to our assembled guests and friends, and the other is in the freezer, waiting for a particular time. And that ain't none of your business, because that's my cake. Anyway, lovely time. I have 2 thoughts on my brain today, and I'm going to share like most of parts of each of them with you. If that's all right with you. All right. Well, I had breakfast this morning. Here's the first thought. I had breakfast at Waffle House this morning. And this was a testament to the value of writing things down. What in the world are you talking about, Glenn? Well, I went over to my doctor's office today for my annual physical. Walked in right on time. In fact, I was a couple of minutes early for my 8:30 appointment. And I walked in and said hello to the two nice ladies behind the desk. Hello, Mary, Kendall. Had a little chat, gave them each a copy of my book, and then I noticed that they looked sort of confused. And I thought, I know I have an appointment for my annual physical. Is my appointment actually today? And Mary laughed, and she looked in her book there, and she says, well, your appointment is for next Tuesday, the 9th of February. So, when you make appointments, you probably should write them down. Just saying. So anyway, I got to have a lovely chat with Mary and Kendall, two very nice ladies, and we talked about the weather and current events and so forth. And they have some fairly good knowledge of the current medical realities and so forth. And that was very interesting to me, talking with them about their experience, their personal experience, and their experience with their many patients in regards to the different medical issues and issues and answers around immune health these days, if you know what I mean. And I got some very interesting insights from Mary and Kendall. We shared back and forth our viewpoints, and I must say I was pleasantly surprised with some of the things I learned from them and their experience and opinions and so forth. Anyway, had a nice chat with Mary and Kendall, and I've now written in my calendar that I have a doctor's appointment next Tuesday morning at 8:30. So in other words, this is the value of writing things down. And because I had arrived at the office in what they call a fasted state, no food or drink past midnight. I actually stopped. I actually finished dessert at about 11 o'clock last night, 10 o'clock, something like that. And so nothing all night. And I was ready to go. I was on there ready to give the blood and do the thing and everything else. And they said, no, your appointment's next week. I said, well, in that case, I'm going to go get me some breakfast. So I went around to Waffle House, and I had the most entertaining breakfast I think I've had in quite a while. I was served by a delightful young lady named Brandy. Brandy was very efficient in taking my order and bringing up the coffee and juice and everything. And Mary was wearing, how if you've ever been to a Waffle House or an IHOP, Denny's, something like that, they wear a badge with the name, Brandy's badge was gold. I'm impressed. And I said, okay, I placed my order, and I said, now, okay, Brandy. Okay, Brandy, I gotta know. What's with the gold badge? What does that mean? She dropped her head and started laughing. She says, oh, Glenn, I hate this badge. I hate this badge so much. Now, she was laughing. She was very pleasant, joking about it. I said, well, now, wait a minute. Why do you hate this badge? She says, because it means I've been working here for about 15 years. And it says right there, served over 100,000 Waffle House diners. She's a certified gold server with Waffle House. So and I congratulated her, and I said to her, listen, I don't know exactly what that means, but I said, I can tell you, I know, one thing I know for sure, Brandy, I said, congratulations are in order, because based on things that I've heard about what it's like to work at a Waffle House, fist bump, baby. You go. And she started laughing and busted out. She said, you just made my day. Because she never gets congratulations, kind words, kudos like that. And it wasn't anything weird to me. I wasn't trying to make a point. I wasn't networking. I wasn't hitting on Brandy. Hey, what's with the gold badge? It's nice. And she told me, I said, well, hey, way to go. Congratulations. Well done, you. And she and I had a lovely chat. Very nice lady. I noticed how she was walking around the diner, walking around the Waffle House. Very smooth. She wasn't rushing around, wasn't running around, but she was very smooth. She generally stayed in motion most of the time, going over here, drying off the cutlery and wiping it down, and then going over here, collecting the dirty plates off the counter, and then doing this and pouring somebody's coffee. And she was getting a lot done, and she looked completely relaxed about it. Chilled out, like very natural movements, like this was the easiest thing in the world. Do you know she was actually singing to herself as she was going around doing the work? Because they had, like country music on the PA system there, and the juke, country music on the juke. And she was singing along with the songs and bopping along, having a good time. And I thought to myself, you know what? This woman's got something. She's got something. Now, there's two things. I'm going to come back to what it is that she's got. This was the first thing I wanted to talk with us about is Wealth Wednesday. Yep, you knew it was coming. Wealth Wednesday. One really good way to perform a Wealth Wednesday is to just find a reason to brighten somebody's day. Find a reason to make somebody smile. And if you can't find a reason to brighten somebody's day, invent one. Come up with a reason. The badge, that was all it took for me, because you don't see those every day. Hey, what's with the gold badge? A nice conversation, congratulated her and everything else. Oh, the other part of my Wealth Wednesday, which I've already done. Have you done your Wealth Wednesday yet? Have you? Well, here's what I did. She brought the bill, as they do at Waffle House, how at the point that they estimate around halfway through your meal, they'll lay the bill face down on the counter next to you. So I took it and went up to the counter, and Brandy met me there. And yep, I tipped the bill. It wasn't much, $15 or something. Brandy got a $15 tip. Should have seen her face. Thank you so much, Glen. I really appreciate it. What did it cost me? Nothing. Couple of bucks. But that tip and the conversation with Brandy, what a difference. I know for a fact that Brandy's going to be walking around with a big smile on her face all day. Just because she had a nice chat with a customer who paid her a compliment and tipped the bill. How hard was that? How hard would it be for you? One other thing that I often like to do on the Wealth Wednesday, I think I've mentioned, these money apps, these money transfer apps that you can get on your phone, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, all that sort of thing. You know what I like to do sometimes? I will go in there and pick a random person, someone I've never heard of, and I will click and anonymously send them $10 or $20. Hey, hope this helps brighten your day. Happy Wealth Wednesday. And see, that's a case of doing something for someone, performing a random act of kindness for a complete stranger involving a financial exchange for a person who cannot possibly pay me back because they don't know who I am. And I had no idea what effect that little thing had on that person, that random person. I know what effect it had on me. Make me feel better, making a little bit of difference, raising the vibration in my little corner of the planet about that much, go for it. Do it. Now, second thing, what Brandy had. She had it before I even walked into place. And I gave her a little bit more of it before I left. And that thing is attitude. A healthy, positive attitude. Yes, we absolutely need to set our goals and work hard toward achieving them, because nobody, and I mean I'll guarantee you, nobody ever sat down cross-legged in the yoga position and I wish for success in my business. I wish for increased revenue and improved income, and poof, it happened. Doesn't work that way. Get off your rusty dusty and do the work. Having said that, it all begins, as our dear old friend Earl Nightingale used to say, with a healthy, positive, optimistic attitude. I've been reading a book lately. I've been working on it for years. It's this one by Jeffrey Gitomer. Jeffrey Gitomer's little gold book of yes attitude. I'll hold that up there for a second if you want to take a screenshot or whatever. Little gold book of yes attitude. How to find, build, and keep a yes attitude for a lifetime of success and happiness. And I was reading a couple of pages here where a story, Jeffrey Gitomer, the author, says he got a message one time from a guy who said, thanks for the article on basics and attitude. Said, my son's school basketball team lost a game last night by missing 2-footers, 2-foot shots, the easiest shots on. You're standing right next to the rim, and somehow you manage to miss the shot. The basics, the fundamentals. In this case, the fundamental of attitude. And you know it, don't you? You can tell when you're around someone, when you are in the presence of someone who has a nasty, negative, downtrodden kind of attitude, cynical, that certain qualities, certain traits about those negative thoughts and feelings, and the person who around you who's holding on, it's like they drain your energy. They block positive thoughts, as Gitomer would say. They cause stress, worry, illness. How many medical professionals nowadays are confirming what we've always suspected, which is that most of our modern day illnesses, ailments, diseases, many have as one of their primary causes stress, negative thoughts, bad attitudes, because as within, so without, right? And we have the ability, as we know, as we've been learning from our book studies and from our conversations here, we can draw, with our dominant thoughts, we can draw to ourselves either the positive or the negative results that we desire or fear in our lives. These negative attitudes, reduce productivity, anger. You ever been around somebody who's just perpetually ticked off at the world? It's always something wrong. Somebody's done me wrong. I need more money than I have. I ain't got no money. Right? Outside influences affect. It's his fault. It's her fault. It's the government. It's my boss. It's the white man. It's my wife. It's my husband's fault. It's not my fault. Is my voice starting to annoy you? It really annoys Paula when I talk this way. But it's like to make the point, I don't like my coworkers, my job, I'm sick and tired of myself, right? Don't you just love being around people like that? Don't you just, it just makes your day. It's fantastic, isn't it? So how do we make the change? How do we remove those negative attitudes from ourselves and develop what I saw in Brandy at the Waffle House today? Well, a big thing that keeps occurring to me is when people tend to put too much emphasis on, say, material things, the acquisition of wealth. Listen, I have no problem at all somebody making as much money as they can legally earn. Absolutely. Legally, ethically earn. And as we know, money and possessions are not the most important things in life. I'm trying to give you like a balanced perspective here, you know what I mean? But ultimately though, money, car, house, possessions, it's all just stuff. And stuff can be replaced. So long as I maintain within myself the attitude, maintain that thought. So if I lose some money, John's lost millions. Money can be replaced. Stuff can be replaced. Wrecked my car? Well, that stinks. You know what? Car can be replaced. And so that if I'm looking at those things clearly and with a mature attitude, I realize that losing something like that, it may be inconvenient, might be unfortunate. It is not the end of the world. Because I can go get another one. Or I can learn to live without it. Either way. Hook into anything funny. I know a lot of people like to watch sitcoms. They like to read funny books. They like to... Hey, listen. Fridays. Here in the Mastermind. Fun Friday. Bring your pet. Bring a joke. Let's have some fun. Anything funny? Laughter. Do you remember the old periodical publication called Reader's Digest? Some of us ancient folks can actually remember Reader's Digest. Do you know that there was an entire section of every monthly edition of Reader's Digest titled Laughter is the Best Medicine? And they'd be jokes, there'd be quips, there'd be funny stories and all kind of stuff. Just stuff to put a smile on your face. Well, guess what? Go find some stuff to put a smile on your face. Whenever I want to put a smile on my face, one of the things I like to do? Yep, you knew it was coming. It's coming right now. It's a Star Trek episode. It's in the book. Chapter's called Furry Object Syndrome. The episode is called The Trouble with Tribbles. Oh my God. You want to have a chuckle? Go watch that episode. I ain't telling you nothing about it. You got to go watch it. It's in the second season. The Trouble with Tribbles. That'll hand you a laugh every time, I guarantee you. Now then, what else? Personal positive self-talk. Now this is a tricky one. As John likes to say, and I agree, personal positive self-talk works very well when the self-talk is something that I can believe. When I'm saying something to myself, Mandy, nice to see you. See you at 3. The self-talk is something that I can believe. Something that makes sense to me. I'll give you an example. There was a time in my life when I was so broke I couldn't pay attention. That kind of broke. How realistic, and I mean literally struggling day to day, meal to meal. How realistic would it have been for me to start a positive self-talk like, I'm a millionaire. I drive a Mercedes, got a diamond ring, got $1 million in the bank. Yeah. Positive self-talk. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. And my brain says, bullshit, you're not a millionaire. How much good would that kind of self-talk do me? For some people, maybe that works. Never worked for me. You know what kind of positive self-talk I gave myself during those times? At one point, all I could manage mentally was, this too shall pass. Sooner or later, this is going to be over and things are going to start looking up. I am absolutely convinced things are going to start looking up. You start where you start. And here's a good one. You're building a business. You're working on a new venture. You're growing an organization with your company. You are building a clientele through your e-commerce website, through your Amazon shopping site, through your, your Blue Sky project, whatever it might be for you. Here's a good one. Every day, I am taking steps, making moves to build my successful business. My business is growing. I'm growing my business on a daily basis. Now, is that true? Absolutely, that's true. Because I know that every one of us here is working hard. We are moving forward. We are taking the daily steps to grow our business, our network, our organization, our e-commerce reach. So would that work, you think? As some positive personal self-talk? You know what? Today, I am building my business. My business. How you doing, Mandy? Great. My business is growing. It's fantastic. You know what I like to do sometimes? I think I'd mentioned this on another call or whatever it was. A lot of times I like to walk into a store and the person behind the counter says, "Hey, good afternoon. How you doing?" And I'll say, "I am having the greatest day of my life." How about you? Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Think about it. In the first place, you woke up this morning. And in the second place, to varying degrees, but as a general rule, we have our health. We're able to walk and talk and see and reason and interact with one another. And we have the ability to create and begin to build a positive, hopeful, Star Trek kind of future for ourselves. We have that ability. So guess what? It's a great day, isn't it? Yeah, it's a great day if you decide that it's a great day. I have had people pay me various kinds of compliments over the years, and I've got lots of faults. Do you know that at one time I was called, on more than one occasion, different people in different types of circumstances referred to me as arrogant. Glenn, you're arrogant. You're so arrogant. You're arrogant. Oh, man, who do you think you are? You know what? After hearing that enough times, I finally went and had a conversation with the guy in the mirror. And I said, a lot of people have been saying this about you. Glenn, are you an arrogant? Is it possible they're right? Is it possible that you really are an arrogant person? Like, one of those guys who thinks who the hell he is. That kind? Always talking about bragging, boasting about himself. Am I that kind of person? Here's what happened. When I did that, had made that analysis, what do they call it in the 12-step? A searching and fearless analysis or something like that. Take a searching and fearless inventory of yourself. What I realized was that in most of the cases where I'd heard that, it was actually a matter of considering the source. Almost all of the people, as I think back, almost all of the people who had been referring to me as arrogant were people who weren't going anywhere in their lives. People who had accepted an existence characterized by mediocrity. People who had essentially given up on their own goals and dreams and hopes, and for whom someone with a positive attitude, someone with an optimistic outlook on life was an uncomfortable reflection on their own failures. Now, I'm not pointing a finger at anybody. I'm not trying to put somebody down, but you understand what I'm saying. Sometimes our attitude serves not only as a magnifier of good things into our own lives, it also serves as a mirror to others of what they may not be doing. And at that point, I started worrying a little bit less about other people's opinions of me. And we can all do that. It's like the old saying, right? I used to worry what other people thought of me until one day I went and tried to pay my bills with their opinions. Read something inspirational. Listen to anything motivational. Kill people with kindness. Wealth Wednesday, anyone? Do something nice for somebody. Help somebody in a positive way without any expectation of return. All of these things, celebrate your small daily successes. I got my wins jar is way over in the corner. I can't reach it from here. Celebrate your wins daily. Did you make one call to a vendor? Did you make one reach out? Did you send text message to a prospective customer, a business partner? Celebrate the win. It's one more call than you would have made if you hadn't picked up the phone. Ooh, hang around with successful people. Who was it? Jim Rohn? I think it was Jim Rohn. Said, you will be the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And that applies in any area of life. Physical, spiritual, mental, psychological, relationship-wise, health, business, finance, money. You will end up eventually being the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So who are the 5 people you spend the most time with right now? And that could be either in person or virtual or by means of a book or, where you're following somebody's podcast or whatever it is. Where do you spend, where do you invest, where do we invest the bulk of our mental time? It's important. It's important. And this is one of those things that I've been blessed to learn over the years. I had a compliment paid to me the other day. Boy, it still kind of warms my chilly old heart to think about it. Somebody said, Glenn, you know what you do? What'd I do? What'd I do? Person said, it was kind of a gruff way of saying it. Person said, Glenn, you push me, you kind of pressure me to be a better person. Okay, I'll take that. I knew, because I knew the person, we're friends, I could tell that what they were saying was, you inspire me. It's what they really meant. I mean, what better compliment could you hope for than to have someone tell you that you, Catherine, Mandy, Missy, Gail, Linda, Lindsay, you, Edward, you inspire someone to become a better person. Wow. And, you can't do that. You can't do that by going around pressuring people, by going around telling people what you think they ought to do. A lot of that people catch from your attitude. A lot of that people catch by osmosis, hanging around you, hanging around in your aura. Well, what kind of glow, what kind of quantum signature are you giving off? Do people generally end up happier if they spend some time around you? It's a legitimate question. Sometimes the answer isn't easy. But I have always made it a goal, always made it a goal, that anybody who hangs around with me is going to feel a little bit better about life and a little bit better about themselves when they leave hanging around with me. Just that much can make a difference. So the two things: go invent a way to brighten somebody's day today. And I hope you might have been jotting down a couple of notes. This book, by the way, great stuff. Jeffrey Gitomer's Little Gold Book of Yes Attitude. How to find, build, and keep a yes attitude for a lifetime of success and happiness. This is one of my pastimes. One of my hobbies is like going around having pleasant conversations with people. Is that weird? Is that sort of shallow? I just get a kick out of meeting somebody and having a laugh, having a nice chat, getting to know somebody a little bit better, making that connection, creating that connection, starting to build a relationship, deepen a friendship. That's what I live for. Paula sometimes gets a little exasperated. Honey, I know you're having a great time. It's fantastic. Were you actually thinking about coming home today? I always end up back at home. And this is how, believe it or not, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story about me and connecting with people and making friendships. It's going to sound a little weird, but you'll get it. You ever heard of a restaurant chain, a sports bar chain called Hooters? You know about Hooters? There are several variations. One's called the Tilted Kilt. And there's another one. And then there's one called Twin Peaks. Yes, it means exactly what you think it means. Good food, cold drinks, scenic views. Know what I mean? No, it's not a strip club. Leave me alone. Anyway, Twin Peaks falls into that category of what here in the States have come to be known as restaurants. Right? So, Twin Peaks is my favorite restaurant. And Paula is totally cool with me going to Twin Peaks. You know how this happened? Let me explain to you how this happened. When we were living in the Middle East, we would watch different American TV shows. And one of the shows we started watching was this thing called Undercover Boss. You remember Undercover Boss, like the CEO puts on a disguise and goes in and works in one of his locations or one of her offices or salons or whatever for a week, and learns about the employees. And then because the employees don't know it's the boss, they tell him their troubles and they complain about the systems that in the office that don't work and all these kinds of things. And then the boss calls them in later for a meeting and says, "Hey, you recognize me? Yeah, I was Jerry, the knucklehead who couldn't even do fries correctly. I'm actually the CEO." And then they explain, "Oh yeah, you're such a great employee, and gonna give you a raise, or whatever, things of this nature, right? Very nice, sort of heartwarming thing." And anyway, one of the businesses that was featured on Undercover Boss was Twin Peaks. And so, and I remember thinking, the boss, the CEO, seemed like such a nice guy and really took care of the people. And I said to myself, I'd like to check out that place one day if I ever get a chance. So we moved to Houston, and driving around, kind of learning the town, getting the lay of the land. And here I come across, hey, it's a Twin Peaks. And then I thought, okay, well, knowing Paula, knowing my dear wife, as I do, she kind of took a dim view of being old school British. You know the type, Mandy. She kind of took a dim view. In Paula's mind at first, Twin Peaks was a little better than a gentleman's club, right? So here's what I did. I went to Twin Peaks one day for lunch and had a burger or something and a beer and chatted with, all the employees and some of the other people there, met the managers, male and female, met some of the servers, the very nice young ladies, and good conversations. And then, at the end of a couple hours, I paid my tab and I went home. And Paula came home from work and said, "Well, what'd you do today?" "Oh, did this, ran some errands and took care of business. And I went to Twin Peaks for lunch." "Oh, you went to Twin Peaks? Oh, okay." The whole time, I never hid from Paula the fact that I was would occasionally go to Twin Peaks for lunch. And while I was there, I would talk to the managers and the staff and everybody. Oh, listen, one of these days I'm going to bring my wife around. You got to meet her. She's the greatest, right? And so one day there happened to be a big sporting event on the telly. And I said, honey, let's go over to Twin Peaks and watch, hey, New York Mets in the World Series, baseball. She says, oh, okay. First thing that happened, we walked in the door and we met some fellow New Yorkers, some fellow Mets fans, and we struck up a conversation. And you know, these are people who became friends of ours over the long term. And then one of the waitresses, who I was kind of one of her regulars, I went up to her and I said, Chelsea, Paula's here. Paula! Chelsea jumped up, ran across the room, threw her arms around. Oh, Paula, Glen's told us so much about you. So glad to meet you. Would you know that Chelsea was actually clouding up meeting my Paula? And now it's kind of like, well, honey, what are you going to do today? You think you might go over to Twin Peaks for lunch? Yeah, I was thinking about it. Well, don't spend too much money. Now, how did that happen? It happened, A, because Paula and I have a relationship of trust. Well, but that's a whole other conversation. But really, it happened because I had made connections with the people in the restaurant, started these conversations, started building, some little friendships and that kind of thing, so that something personal happened in my life. My wife is here, along with some friends, and people immediately took up the connection. People immediately took up the relationship, and Paula immediately realized that I wasn't just going there for the scenic views. I was going there because these are nice people, and I was enjoying hanging out with them. So, why in the world did I tell you this whole story? Go meet somebody new. Start a new conversation. Find a gold badge and make a comment on the gold badge. The example of something like that. Pay someone a sincere compliment. Tip the bill if you're out for lunch. Something along those. Find a way, invent a way to brighten someone's day. You have no idea what could happen. Oh, yeah. And it'll brighten up your attitude, too. Excellent. All right. I'd love to hear from you. What's on your mind? Because I know a lot of times this whole thing of attitude, sometimes people say, well, how can I have a good attitude when everything's going wrong? Well, it's kind of like the old joke, well, not jokes, the old saying, am I an alcoholic because I drink, or do I drink because I'm an alcoholic? Do you have a bad attitude because things are going wrong? And I don't mean you, and I'm not putting, you know what I mean. Do you have a bad attitude because things are going wrong? Or are things going wrong because you have a bad attitude? I don't know the ultimate answer to that. I'll tell you what I do know. Positive attitude couldn't possibly hurt, and it always helps. Well, there you go. And I'm done running my mouth. Let me go down here and look, because I always like looking at the chat. And thank you, Lindsay. Lindsay says, oh, you do inspire me to be a better person. Thanks, Lindsay. I appreciate it. Yeah, and the fun challenge. Mandy, how's the fun challenge going?
Yes, we posted it on Facebook. We're trying to get, Linda was doing it, yes. Virginia was doing it, Missy was doing it, I think, but not everybody saw it, so I'm just trying to navigate Facebook. So it's on there as an event, but we've been doing it since Monday.
Well, I'm going to go over there and get in on it. Sounds like fun. See what I did there?
Yes.
Sounds like fun. Sounds like, you see?
We're going to watch the Tribbles tonight. Do that one for today.
Yeah. Speaking of fun, you know what? It's getting to be noon around here. I think I just might swing by Twin Peaks for lunch. What do you think? Catherine's like, man, what is wrong with this dude? He just, he ain't got no sense left. It's true. It's true. But, fun. Fun. We talked about this last week, didn't we? Fun. Don't forget to have some fun along the way. And I guess my whole point to this thing is not enough people are enjoying their life. Not enough people are enjoying their day-to-day existence. And if you and I have the ability to help somebody have a little bit more fun, to help somebody put a little bit more of a smile on their face, we ought to do it. Just because it'll make us feel better, if for no other reason. Well, there you go. And, calendar. My password went a little weird, so I don't actually have the calendar in front of me, but I'm going to make an assumption about the hospitality suite right after this. And then 3 this afternoon, 3 Eastern time, 8 UK time, Mandy Anderson, Books for Britain. Get right to you in just 5 seconds, Gail. And then 6 this evening, Adrian, Life and Business Tools. And then me, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, Networking Magic. Yay! Gail, what's happening?
I just wanted to say that for me, I don't concentrate on the bad things. I look to the things that are coming up, and I find for me, I'm a very happy and calm person. I think it's good to concentrate on the good things, not the bad things, and I do try to make other people happy if I can.
Gail, you radiate good vibes.
Oh, thank you.
You radiate good feelings. I can't imagine somebody coming and socializing with you and not coming out of it feeling happier about their life.
Thank you.
So yes, agree 1,000%. Excellent. So, unless one of our friends has one final thought, burning a hole in the pocket of your mind, I think we shall call it a session. I am so glad to have each of you in my inner circle, in my mastermind. It's a great time. So we are wishing, as they used to say back in church, we are wishing our good friend John Lavinia journey mercies as he travels someplace. He's apparently on a plane to an undisclosed location as we speak for a conference, I suppose, and he'll be back around this weekend. Tomorrow, special treat. John's secret weapon. The brilliant and beautiful Shannon Lavinia will be hosting general session tomorrow. Yes, indeed. Be there or be square. Because we know what a powerhouse Shannon is. Looking forward to it. My friends, make it a fabulous day. We shall see you later on in the Books for Britain and the Networking Magic and Adrian's seminar. He's always the best. Live long, my friends. Live long and prosper. Duct tape works, Gil. Little here, little around, and then you want to pull the tape down so that the thumb... Yes! Nice. Have a great day, my friends. See you soon. Bye for now.